Hey y'all, welcome to Easy English. Today I want to ask the question, can Brits do an American accent? Let's go.
Can you do an American accent?
Probably a very bad one that most Americans would hate.
Cheeseburger. Grab a cheeseburger.
Yeah, like coffee.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that sounded pretty legit.
I'd like a cup of coffee.
Kind of guess I'd talk like that a bit and maybe a little bit different.
Here I am, hardly walking down Broadway.
The Batman. That was an English guy.
It was.
Yeah, gee, something like that. Yeah, no, not really, no.
But if you're from New York, you talk more like that.
Oh, that's a good one.
You want some gumbo?
I'm going to take my horse to the downtown road.
Yeah, if you weren't in a hurry for, some meaning in the sentence, which sort of started about now.
I'm not going to try and do an impression of an American. I'll only insult them.
Where would you say that is based around?
I would say that's Texan.
I think it's mainly New York and New Jersey with the Q, kind of the coffee.
Do you know what kind of American accent he might have been doing there, or do you think it's like a...
I think that was a generic Batman accent. It's not really...
The one I would hear the most is the Southern accent, which is obviously one of the thickest ones, but I don't think I could do it. So.
What is your accent? If you have one.
Well, I mean, people misconstrue us as being Cockneys, I think, sometimes.
I don't really know. I mean, I'm from I'm from Hampshire originally, Hampshire, Surrey border.
If you was to ask an American the same question about British, I'm interested to know what I'm sure they would do.
They think we're posh.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Probably because I'm from the Midlands, there's a bit more of a kind of Birmingham talks a bit more like that, and it's more like a bit lazier.
When I'm visiting family in the West Country, well, then you're going to hear a little bit of that sort of Somerset, Gloucestershire, Westland stuff, and right. Unless I goes back into town and drops into Bristol, it's all right, my lovely, and you can understand anything,
Southern England, that's what I would say was my accent.
You take me to somewhere like Chelsea and I sound like I will say Brighton, and I will drop and I will say...
You drop the T.
If you had to describe your accent, how would you describe it?
Lazy accent, I guess.
I cut my teeth in East London. In Tower Hamlets, I was a teacher of kids who would speak really fast and have lots of things, and all the vowel sounds were really sort of widened and really stretched out.
Do you have a favourite?
Not really. No, I'd say the New York accent is probably.
Well, New York would probably be the most familiar to me.
And is that your favourite American accent?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it's better than the old hillbillies down in the southern states and stuff like that.
Have you been to America?
Yes, I have.
Okay. To Texas?
No, I've been to Florida and New York and California.
So my dad worked for an American company. Right. So both my mum and dad did at one point. So they would say Caribbean instead of Caribbean.
Have you been to America before?
Yeah, I've been to America a few times actually, luckily for me, which is great. Been to New York and California and travelled around, but I love movies, so, mainly from there, I guess.
Have you been to America?
I have been, yeah, many years ago.
Okay,
yeah.
Where did you go?
LA.
I've always felt a bit of a thing with New York, really. We've been there on holiday.
And then how does it differ from a British accent?
It's completely different.
You notice that people often pronounce words like schedule is now schedule. And that's an Americanism, and it's just become normally used in English.
Yeah, New York's got more of a twang to it, and it's definitely more streetwise sounding. But then so's London, so maybe that's city rather than anything else. City versus country.
Like we say thorough, they say thorough.
Right.
We say route, they say route.
Yeah, and they say military, and we say military in England.
We say lieutenant, they say lieutenant.
Yeah.
And why do you hear that so often?
I don't know, is it...
do you watch a lot of movies?
Maybe it's a legacy of Dallas or something, I've no idea.
We've been brought up on American TV, haven't we? All of us, all our lives, and American films.
Well, I guess Gone with the Wind years back and things like that, and Dixie. I also loved music, so kind of like, jazz and all all the South stuff is really good.
I guess you've got like certain American actors that you might pick up from, like Al Pacino. He's got quite a strong American accent, but I'm not sure exactly where from.
When British movies go over to America,
they get subtitles.
They do sometimes subtitle it, particularly if you've got like a Geordie accent or something like that.
Other than those two accents, I think the rest is they're very difficult for me to pick up on. Where I know if you're an American, I suspect you can sort of pinpoint roughly where people come from.
Do you think there's something in the pace of life that changes your accent, maybe?
Definitely, yeah, because if you're in a fast-moving, fast-happening place, you tend to speak fast too and walk fast usually.
If you're in New York or Chicago, they speak really fast, and it's almost staccato. So there's a different speed to it as well as sound to it, depending on where you are.
The South is more drawling, isn't
Yeah.
it? So, wow, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I think the vowel sounds seem to be more drawn out.
Yeah.
They seem to make more of the vowels than perhaps we do in more straight off the bat English.
Matthew McConaughey with that, all right. The southern, all right. That very lazy, stretched out of the, stringing out the word.
I guess some parts of the cheeseburger, you kind of accent like a different part of how you pronounce your vowels, I think.
Yeah.
It's quite sort of rough around the edges, I guess. That would be a rough New York accent, wouldn't it? Just like a rough London accent, I guess.
Thanks for watching this week's episode. Let us know in the comments below whether you prefer a British or an American accent, and if you know specifically which region you like the sound of the most. And if you're enjoying our content, then please don't forget to subscribe below, and if you want to help support myself and Easy's work at Easy English, then become a member up here. And as always, we'll see you next week. Ta-ra!
And within, the next 45 minutes, you could have probably guessed that it wasn't worth listening to start with.